the best of Las Vegas, according to Jacob. Jacob from Jacob's Life in Las Vegas. Jacob's Vegas Life. Jacob joining us through the magic of the internet. He's not Chris Rainey. My title goes away there in a second. But Jacob, welcome to the live stream today.
Oh, thanks, Chris. Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, absolutely. It's my pleasure. I've been looking forward to doing this. Lots of fellow explorers requested that I invite you on, so I'm looking forward to it. If there's some of you who don't know who Jacob is, I consider him kind of one of the OG original Vegas YouTubers. He has over 1,000 videos on his channel all about Vegas, actually more videos than I do. I think that's really impressive. So whether you are traveling to Vegas, whether you live in Vegas, whether you're looking to move to Vegas, I think you'll find something interesting today, and Jacob does all those things on his channel. Interesting things that not a lot of other people do, talking about real estate, talking about how to tip in Vegas. So, but we're going to find out all of Jacob's favorite things in Vegas today, and we're going to start with question number 1, which is, first, Jacob, how long have you lived in Vegas?
We're going over 8 years now. It's been since I moved here from San Jose, California.
Yeah, and why did you decide to move to Vegas? What brought you there?
Well, I mean, it's a lot of the same reasons that you hear other people when they leave California, right? So it's particularly this past year that picked up big time for California. But I mean, I left because, a lot of it was expensive to live there, right? The taxes are, were the highest in the country for state taxes, among other things. So, I mean, I was like, yeah, I think now's a pretty good time to get out and try something different.
Okay. And overall, now that you're in Vegas, what's your favorite thing about Vegas?
I like the culture here a lot better than what I experienced in San Jose. I do like it here a lot better. I think you do have more freedom here in Nevada. I like that the tax burden's not as high as it was in California. I do think there's a greater emphasis on personal freedom here and individual freedom here. So, some things in Las Vegas that, happen in other cities, like particularly how we get our reputation for being Sin City. Things happen here that happen in other places, but Vegas is just pretty upfront about it.
Yeah, that's right. You know what's going on. So yeah. we're gonna talk about some of Jacob's favorite things, starting with the Strip. Then we're gonna go downtown. Then we'll go around Las Vegas because Vegas is a lot more than just the Strip. As we go through, I'll take some of the questions and comments from the live chat. So I look forward to hear what questions you all have. But let's go ahead and start talking about the Strip. What's your favorite hotel and casino on the Strip?
I get that from people sometimes. To say I have one that's the only one I like, that's kind of tough. So, I mean, I do think going through properties like the Bellagio is definitely beautiful. Cosmopolitan's a nice property. But I mean, obviously Wynn, Encore, they're known for being higher end. But to say I have one that's this is the one and only, kind of tough.
Yeah. When you say Bellagio, what do you like about the Bellagio?
Oh, just the decor when you're inside. I mean, when you go, of course, everybody knows the fountains, but when you get inside, the decor of the place, in the lobby, the decor of the, when is it 5 times a year, they change it, the decoration inside. The
conservatory, right? Yeah.
Yeah, the conservatory. So, yeah, 5 times a year, they change that. So, I mean, it's cool because you could go several times a year and always see something different when you're in there. So, I mean, it just has a higher end feel to it.
That's cool. Guy Davis on the live chat says, "Hey, Jacob, great to see you on Chris's channel." All right. Thank you, Guy. And J&J says, "This collaboration is long overdue." It probably is. So I'm glad we're doing it today. Martin's favorite hotel on the Strip is the Travelodge. So, Martin, that's good for you. I'm going to go ahead and leave that one all to you. Now, if you're hungry on the Strip, Jacob, where do you like to eat? What are your favorite places to eat on the Strip?
So if you're doing a cheap spot, I mean, I'm going to stick with a place that I did a video on, I think the first year I had the channel, maybe second year. And it's actually just north of the Strat. It's behind the Strat on Las Vegas Boulevard. And it's Tacos Mexico. I know people love Tacos El Gordo. They love Roberto's. But, I mean, I think Tacos Mexico was one of the first Mexican places I ate at in Las Vegas. So it's got a little special spot in my heart.
Okay. I've not eaten at Tacos Mexico. What's good about that place?
Oh, the tacos and the burritos. My measure when I go to a Mexican restaurant is oftentimes I get a carne asada burrito, and that's how I like to see if the place is good or not. So if they can serve up a good carne asada burrito, I'm usually gonna be pretty happy. So I'll usually do the burrito there or the carne asada tacos and put green sauce on it, and it's great.
Yeah. Right on. I'm a big carne asada fan too, so carne asada is my go-to as well. All right, what if you're going a little bit more high end? What's your favorite high end spot on the Strip?
High end, I've been at Cut Steakhouse or Cut by Wolfgang Puck in the Palazzo several times. That's a good spot. That place is tasty. Now you're going to obviously be shelling out some cash for it, but it's a nice. If you want to do a unique experience every once in a while, pay for a more luxury experience. Cut is a good steakhouse.
Yeah, for sure. What about buffets? I know people always ask me, Chris, what's my favorite buffet? Are you a buffet guy? And if you are, what's your favorite buffet?
I've been to a handful of buffets, and I'll probably go with. This is also the first one I went to when I moved here to town was Bacchanal, and I think back then I forgot what the price is now, but I think back then it was like $40 something for dinner, and it was $10-15 a person if you want to cut the line and that kind of thing. I went there for breakfast buffet too once. It was okay, but the dinner was like that was awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I feel like the price now is like 400. I don't know. It just seems like it keeps going up and up and up. But the good news is that Bacchanal has announced they're reopening on May 25th. So if anybody wants to get their buffet fix on, and they'll be accepting reservations when they reopen, which I'm pretty excited about because that's always the thing I hate about buffets is like standing in line for a long time.
Yeah.
Because you're from the Bay Area, Matt wants to know, what's your favorite burrito in San Jose?
Favorite burrito, San Jose? Got to be going over to La Vix, downtown San Jose, right across the street from San Jose State's campus. La Vix with that orange sauce is awesome. Also eaten at Burrito-Zilla before, which is literally just around the corner. So Burrito-Zilla is pretty cool because they've got that massive burrito that I think only Joey Chestnut has been able to eat it because he's the world hot dog eating champion. So.
It's like double
the
the size of your arm or something like that. That's how I always meant. Like, is the burrito big? Is it bigger than your arm?
It's huge. They have. You can actually see they actually have like a not a picture, but they show like a normal size burrito, then how big like the Burrito-Zilla is if they put in the tinfoil wrap next to it. It's insane. But no, San Jose, La Vix, downtown is that was the go-to spot.
Robin says Epic Collab did a double take on the thumbnail. And one of the things I love about Jacob's thumbnails, I feel like he has the most expressive thumbnails for Vegas video. I had to find definitely one of my most expressive poses to match him on there. So,
oh man.
Okay. So continuing our dialogue on the Strip, what's your favorite show on the Strip? Like favorite thing to see?
So, favorite show, I think you're asking like free and paid kind of thing. I mean, paid, I thought Blue Man Group was a really cool show. I mean, it's definitely all ages appropriate. Michael Jackson 1 is a cool show. The people that perform in that are like, it's amazing how talented those people are. So, I think those are a couple of pretty cool shows. Free shows, I mean, I was going to say just Fremont Street. It's a good free show.
Yeah. Just being there, right? Not even the screen, just the place, right? Yeah.
Yeah, just seeing the type of people that are there is no shortage of variety.
Cool. Well, I will definitely second the Blue Man Group, and I always like the volcano in front of the Mirage. I just feel like where else in the world can you see like a volcano from that close up, right? And I don't really want to go see a real volcano all that close because I'm afraid of lava. I think it's hot. All right. So speaking of the opposite of hot, best pool. What do you think the best pools are on the Strip?
Man, so pool. I mean, let's see. If we're just talking like a regular pool, I think one that's just kind of cool right in the center of the Strip that it's fine. Actually, I like the Flamingos, believe it or not. That's one of the ones I've been to I liked was over at the Flamingo. If we're talking pool like day club kind of thing, I've been to Marquee Day Club and Marquee Nightclub. Those are both pretty cool. I was able to go to Rehab several years ago. Now it's, a whole different animal over there. But Rehab was a cool day club. And then Night Swim, XS Night Swim is fun. If you ever get a chance to go to XS Night Swim when you're here during the summertime, the weather's nice and hot at midnight, 1 a.m, XS Night Swim is cool.
Okay, that's a good tip. I have not been to XS Night Swim. But yeah, the flamingo. I mean, there's flamingos though. There's actual flamingos at the Flamingo Hotel, which I think a lot of people don't even realize. And so, for folks that haven't been in there, like you might look at the flamingo and think it's like an old and dated place on the outside, which I mean, it kind of is. But it is kind of neat to walk in and see this whole like flamingo garden. It's like it's one of those like old school Vegas things. The Points Traveler wants to know, Jacob, if you've been to a Knights hockey game yet.
Yes, I have. I went a couple years ago. It was actually like their last home game of the season, and they lost. They're already going to the playoffs, so I don't think they had much incentive to like really. I think they pulled out a lot of their starters too. So I did. It was fun to watch. It was really cool to see. Didn't grow up a huge hockey fan, but I mean, it's kind of cool to see sports teams here now because forever people thought Vegas would never have any sports teams. So.
Yeah, no, it's cool. It's cool to see sports coming to Vegas. There isn't just like boxing when it comes to town, right? Shannon wants to know if the conveyor belt sushi places are open.
That I don't know. I'm probably not. Well, I mean, I just did a video at a Korean restaurant, and they have sushi places, but nah, I wouldn't be the one to know for that one. I'm not a huge sushi person.
Yeah.
So sorry.
All right. Well, somebody asks, and it's always a theme on my live stream. Somebody says, "What are you drinking today, Chris?" Today, I'm drinking this pink thing in my Pac-Man cup. What is this pink thing? It is Health Aid kombucha. I don't like the name Health Aid. It makes me feel like I'm drinking some medicine, but it is pomegranate flavored kombucha. They had like a 6-pack at Costco for pretty cheap, and it's bubbly and fruity tasting. So that's what I'm drinking today. Okay, so we talked about pools. We talked about clubs. You like the Night Swim Club. Are there any other clubs that you recommend on the Strip for people?
I mean, it's going to just kind of depend what you like. Like Dre's is a pretty cool club because it's on top of the rooftop there. Yeah, so they've got the day club and the nightclub combined. I mean, if you want just like to be in a massive building, you have Omnia, you have Hakkasan, which are just huge in terms of how many square feet they are. So, I mean, it is Vegas, so there's no shortage of like clubs to go to and places to go see. That's one thing that people, especially if they're coming from some real small town, like, what's the best club in Vegas to go to? I'm like, dude, if you're coming from, nowhere, Texas, then like any of these clubs are going to seem overwhelming to you and they're going to seem amazing. So,
yeah. Well, and I'll definitely second Dre's, which is spelled Drais, if people are trying to spell it. But yeah, it overlooks the Bellagio fountains, and it's a really neat spot. For indoor ones, I like Light at Mandalay Bay, not just because of I like the performers there. They have like kind of all these like interesting sort of like circus acts inside, and it looks pretty neat. Kevin wants to know, speaking of clubs, if they've reopened yet.
So actually, and funny you ask, because just the other day on my live stream, I started right inside of the Venetian, and Tao was open. So like clubs are open, but it's not like I wouldn't expect to be back closer to normal till we actually get into summertime. And even this, like clubs have been open, but it's not been the same kind of experience. It's been kind of like people just going there for like bottle tables and that kind of thing. So, when will they be normal? This summer is going to be very telling, is what I'll say. This summer should be a good indicator of what we can expect going forward.
Charles wants to know, have you been to Dragon Tiger Noodle yet?
I have not, Charles. I have not been there.
I don't know. Charles, is there something we should know about Dragon Tiger Noodle? Kevin also likes Dre's. And Guy seconds your flamingo pool specifically for the happy hour and to plan a nap after. Joy says she's going to Vegas in June. She wants to know how many bottles of sunscreen should she need?
At least 35. So,
good answer.
Yeah, definitely bring the sunscreen. That SPF 30, 50, 100, whatever you got, definitely bring it. June, July, August especially.
Yes. I think one bottle for 3 days is probably, it depends how big your bottle is, but okay. Yeah. So as a Las Vegas local, do you think there's any like hidden gems on the Strip, things that you think are just particularly cool that people don't talk about enough, that you're like, when you guys come to the Strip, go check this out?
One cool spot I'll say that does, and this property, I think it really gets overlooked a lot because there's no gaming inside of it. You go like to Waldorf Astoria, they've got a cool little bar in there. I forgot what floor it's on, but it's definitely not on the ground level. But because they've had it there since it was Mandarin Oriental as well. But they do have a cool bar there where you can go grab a drink. It's going to be pricey, of course, but it's a nice, calm, serene setting. It's got a great view looking out over the strip. So, but that property doesn't get a lot of attention. That bar doesn't get a lot of attention either.
Yeah, that is one of my favorite strip hotels, and I just like it because the rooms are nicely well appointed. You don't have to schlep a long way from your car into the hotel. And that bar, which let's pretend it's on the 20th floor. It's something like that. It's about that high. It's the same floor as the lobby, if any people are looking for it. It's also a great spot if you want to get like an aerial strip view picture, because they have these like windows that look out on the whole strip. So that's a good recommendation. Albie wants to know what's happening with the high-speed train.
Nothing. That high-speed train, I have little faith that whole high-speed train from Las Vegas to Victorville, and they keep saying Southern California because people generally think of Los Angeles and they say Southern California, but logistically, I don't see that making a lot of sense. Financially, I don't see it making a lot of sense. I mean, Elon Musk will have us all in self-driving cars by then, so yeah, I don't think that high-speed train is going to really be much of a factor ever.
Not while any of us are young, at least.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Cool. So let's go ahead and move from the strip downtown. We talked about Fremont Street Experience just being a great show in and of itself. But as far as hotels and casinos, what are your favorites downtown?
Downtown, so I like the D. I do think the D, and D was a long time the most popular one down there for people, till now you have Circa that's opened up. So if you haven't been to Circa yet, I would encourage you to go because it definitely has a different feel than almost any other downtown properties. Basically, even before it was built, it was like people kind of expect to be like a strip property in downtown on Fremont Street. So I think Circa's cool. I do think the D is pretty cool downtown if you're going to hang out over there.
Melanie wants to know if Hell's Kitchen is overrated.
I have yet to eat at Hell's Kitchen, so I mean, sorry, Melanie.
that makes two of us, Jacob. So don't feel bad. Yeah. I will say, because I'm more of a cheap eats person. Like people who like Gordon Ramsay and those sorts of things, and the celebrity chef thing, like they like it because of the celebrity chef affiliation. And so if that's the case, then go. I think nearly all of the celebrity chef restaurants are overpriced for the food that you get because you're getting the name of the celebrity chef on it. Chris's opinion.
Exactly.
Yeah. Points Traveler wants to know, what are some good hiking spots around Vegas?
Points Traveler, good question. Especially since lately now I've been somewhat regularly doing Sunday morning hikes, a live stream on my channel before it gets too hot here. So yeah, hiking, man. So obviously Red Rock Canyon is a popular one. So that's, west of the strip. So you're going to go into Red Rock Canyon. You do have to pay to get in there, but there are some areas where you can hike outside of it for free. There's the Calico Basin, First Creek Trail, Oak Creek Trail. Also in Henderson, there's Sloan Canyon. You can go hiking. We're literally bumps right up against the neighborhood Inspirada in Henderson. So that's a good spot to go to as well. I mean, and then, when in doubt, you can just, if you're far enough out in the desert, just start climbing around.
There you go. Anything can be a hike at that point. Wu-Tai One Nostalgia wants to know, is any building happening in Las Vegas now, hotels especially?
Well, obviously we have Resorts World, so that's the big one that people are talking about because they're supposed to be done next month. So Resorts World was the big one. I mean, there's always road construction going on in Las Vegas, so the traffic is kind of a pain in certain parts of the strip and around town right now. I just did a video recently on All Net Resort and Arena because this is like supposed to be their last chance to either, hey, start building something or, you're out of this project and we're going to let someone else build there. And then the Drew keeps going back and forth.
Yeah.
The Drew's gone back and forth so many times, it's hard for me to even keep up. And it's like the more it keeps going back and forth, it seems like the less attention it gets because people are just almost
tired of it,
indifferent to it. Right. Yeah, exactly.
I think the Drew's going to be done about the same time as the high-speed rail. We can just call the Drew like the high-speed rail terminal into Vegas.
Yeah.
Speaking of Resorts World, Xander wants to know, what's the opening date for Resorts World?
Yeah, so they've announced June 24th. That is supposed to be their opening date. For a while, they were saying summer, and I actually thought they were going to, when it said summer, I thought they were going to push it back September or something. That was going to still be summer.
That's right.
But they've said June 24th, but it's not going to be completely done when they do that opening on June 24th. Like the nightclub won't be done yet, so the day club probably won't be done either. And then I don't know if all the banquet space is going to be done yet either. So they are opening June 24th, but it doesn't sound like it's going to be completely done until maybe like later this year.
Yeah, June 24th, there will be at least 3 hotel rooms bookable and 5 slot machines you can play. There we go. We'll be open.
Yeah.
You know. Ollie, the Greek, wants to know, what are your thoughts on the ice bars in Vegas?
The ice bars, I haven't really done any of the ice bars in Vegas. So, I mean, I don't see a huge appeal to those. So I was at one of the, I guess it was an oxygen bar the other night on my live stream. As people were watching, I started off there at one of the oxygen bars, and that was kind of an interesting experience to get a demo, but I don't see a huge appeal.
Yeah. So on the oxygen bar, did you do the oxygen bar? Were you breathing the oxygen? No. All right. Yeah.
No, they gave me a shot of something that was supposed to be like cinnamon flavored kava or something, and it just, I don't know, it didn't do anything. It's supposed to make you feel euphoric. I didn't feel anything, and they had all these different massaging devices and things that they were demoing for the live audience. So I did that, and it was cool. I was like, all right, well, take care. I got a little experience that was done.
I will say I've not been to the ice bar in Vegas. Sigrel and I have been to the ice bar, the original one in Sweden, and I mean, it's one of those things where like I think it is cool to go into a bar that's all made of ice, and the bar is made of ice, and the glasses are made of ice. It's one of those things that you pay, $30-$40, and you go in and you're in there for about 10 minutes, and you take some selfies, and you drink your one drink, and then you're like, okay, I'm really cold now. I think I'd like to leave. So it's definitely one of those like checkbox things, So for anybody who like really wants to go to an ice bar, I would say, do it, get your pictures, and then you'll be done. Yeah. So downtown, when you're down there and you're hungry, what do you like to eat downtown?
So downtown. So I'll go with a place. I think this might have been the first place I ever ate at downtown. It was a Park on Fremont. So, I mean, it's right there in the center of all the action, like right across the street from the Griffin. I do like Park on Fremont. I also like Pizza Rock. So I did a video with Say Hi to Matthew at Pizza Rock a few years ago. That was pretty good. So, I mean, there's several spots you can go to, but those are two that I've had probably the most downtown.
Yeah. What about Hawaiian food? Downtown is like known as like the ninth island for Hawaii. So do you have a favorite like Hawaiian spot down there?
Well, that's because of the casino down there is supposed to be popular with people visiting from Hawaii. No, my favorite Hawaiian restaurant, at least so far, I mean, there's others I could try, is Island Flavor. And I did a video on this 4 years ago, something like that. And man, it was awesome. I got the plate. I don't think it was called barbecue mix, but it had beef and it had the furikake chicken with the rice. Oh man, it was amazing. So I did that probably 4 or so years ago. And then a year or so ago, they opened another location up in Sky Canyon, like up in the Northwest, did a live stream up there, and it was great. So that's where I like for the Hawaiian food.
That's cool. Okay, I see a few questions here. Let me bring one up, which is Don wants to say, he asks, would you say the Vegas Strip is back to 50% or more relative to people?
A couple of weeks ago, I would have said absolutely. A few weeks ago, man, it was busier than I expected to be on the Strip. And the last couple weeks hasn't been quite as busy. 50%, I would say yeah, but I don't know that I would say by a whole lot. Maybe a little more than that. But yeah, a few weeks ago, I was like, wow, I hadn't seen that busy in a while.
Yeah.
So,
and that was probably just weekends at this point, though, not like a Tuesday afternoon, right?
Yeah, I mean, the week, especially without the conventions here during the week, that's going to be hurting for a while.
Yeah. Todd wants to know if Atomic Liquors is worth the cab ride from the Palazzo.
Oh man, I've walked by Atomic Liquors a whole bunch, but I've actually never even been inside that place. So, I mean, sorry. I mean, if you're going to go down to Atomic Liquors, you might as well just walk Fremont and just check out several spots. Like, you're going to go from Palazzo to Atomic Liquors. I mean, I would start at Atomic Liquors and then work your way towards the Canopy, and then you can hop in. And especially if you do it earlier in the evening, it's probably better because you can do that like before Commonwealth gets a line built up and that kind of thing. And you can hop into there, hop in the Griffin, downtown cocktail room. And And from there, you can just kind of bounce around between the bars. So I would recommend doing it earlier in the evening and not like late, like 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night when it's more chaotic down there.
Boston Bob wants to know, what are your thoughts on the 3 Hyatt flags over at the Rio Hotel remodel?
Yeah, I mean, no offense to the Rio, but I haven't paid a whole lot of attention to the Rio lately. They've been, I know they've been part of rumors and stuff going on about even getting demolished for a baseball stadium and all this kind of stuff, probably a year or two ago. So I've not paid a whole lot of attention over there.
Yeah, and so the latest on that one, something that I've paid attention to because I love Hyatt. I'm like a Hyatt globalist, like they're top tier elite. And so I'll say I'm excited about it. But I think that the thing that will sort of be interesting to see is that, Hyatt's partnered with all the MGM hotels, like for the M Life status. Right. So now that Hyatt is actually bringing its own property to Vegas, are they still going to have that same partnership with the M Life hotels? And frankly, I think that, to Jacob's point, though, anything the Rio does will probably be better than what it's doing right now. And I used to love the Rio when like the buffet there was the thing, like the Carnival World buffet was like that, like started the whole buffet thing in Vegas, I feel like. And then it's just every year it's kind of like an Office Space where the main character says like every day is the worst day of my life at my job or something like that. Where like every day at the Rio buffet I think is the worst day. Like every day it just gets worse and worse. So I want it to come back and have a good buffet too. So I'm optimistic for it. Points Traveler wants to know if you would recommend renting a car in Vegas.
If you're going to be doing stuff off the Strip, definitely. If you're going to be going to Hoover Dam or you want to go hiking at Rock Canyon, something like that, Valley of Fire, right? You're going to be going outside the immediate area, definitely. And right now, maybe even if you're not, and you're just going to go between the Strip and downtown, or maybe other areas right near the Strip, I still might recommend it more just because there's such a shortage of Uber and Lyft drivers. People are having these long waits to grab an Uber and Lyft, so more people are doing things like getting taxis and that kind of thing. So I mean, just for the sake of convenience, I probably would. Or it doesn't necessarily have to be through Avis or something like that, but maybe use like Turo or some other rental app like that. So I would just like to have that convenience, But if you're just going to be on the Strip and you just want to bounce around between a few different spots that maybe you're familiar with and you like, no. But if you're going to be going, if you want to venture out, then yes.
Yeah, that's a great recommendation. I think that so often people get the like a blanket recommendation. Don't rent a car when you go to Vegas. That's like often a blanket recommendation that people give, but it's there's actually a lot to Vegas beyond the Strip, and so if you want to experience all that stuff, then like you need a car. I've seen some interesting articles because the rental car prices are so expensive, and there aren't enough of like people renting like U-Hauls because like U-Hauls have been cheaper than rental cars. So I just think that's kind of funny. Leah wants to know how you feel about the supper clubs like Mayfair. Are they worth the experience and the price tag?
Sorry, Leah, I haven't been. So, I can't help you.
That makes 2 of us. If anybody else on the live stream has been to the Mayfair Supper Club, please help a fellow explorer out. Let Leah know what you think. Wu Tai wants to second, you need a car in Vegas for sure. And Trini wants to know, Jacob, do you think the Oakland Athletics will eventually move to Las Vegas? Will Vegas also get a new baseball team?
Yeah, that's the hot news right now. I just saw it on Twitter like today about the A's moving to Las Vegas. It's too early to tell that kind of thing, but I mean, Oakland obviously has had no shortage of financial issues with their local governments, and I don't have a lot of faith that that's probably going to get any better anytime soon. So I wouldn't be surprised if it did happen eventually, but there's a lot of moving parts that go into something like that. So, but then again, the fact that we have the Golden Knights here, we have the Raiders who came here from Oakland, obviously. I think it does make it a more viable option, and it does make Las Vegas more tempting to come to than something like staying in Oakland. But it's ultimately too early to tell.
Joe wants to know the question that I'm sure everybody wants to know, which is, how long do you think it will be before masks are not required at all on your crystal ball or Ouija board? What does it tell you?
Yeah. I think it's going to have to come at some point during the summertime at this point. I mean, with several of the properties already being at 100% capacity, I mean, and even with the mask enforced, it's not being forced outside. I mean, you go into businesses, they want you to wear it, and they'll instruct you to wear it. But when you're outside, it's a lot more hit or miss. So, I mean, I'm optimistic it'll be before July 4th, because that's one thing that seems like there's a lot of push to have July 4th be a bigger celebration in Vegas, just because of what's happened with the pandemic in the last year or so. So I'd be surprised if it was after July 4th. That's what I'll say.
All right, I'm going to keep my fingers crossed for that one. So we talked about downtown, we talked about hotels, we talked about food. What else do you think people should see or do when they're downtown?
When you're downtown, let's see. I would suggest Container Park. I mean, it's just a block or two from the Canopy.
The giant fire-breathing praying mantis that's there. Yeah.
Yep. So I would suggest going in there. It is pretty cool. Just know that if you buy drinks outside of Container Park, you cannot walk in with your alcoholic drinks. And then if you buy alcohol in Container Park, you cannot leave Container Park with those drinks. It's kind of a strange rule. Like people think, you can just walk anywhere you want, but when it comes to there, they actually don't do that.
That's unusual for Vegas.
It is. And when I learned about it, I thought it was unusual too, but that's how they do it.
Cool. That's a good tip. What do you think about walking? People often ask me about Fremont East, right? The kind of, the other way from the Fremont experience. Any interesting stuff? Like there's the Container Park, but is there anything else interesting that you like that way?
Well, so when you go to Fremont, so when you're leaving the Canopy, so you're underneath the Canopy and you're going east, and you're going to hit Fremont East Side, that's when you're going to hit all like the bars and some of the restaurants, and you actually have to go another block before you hit downtown Container Park. So if you're walking from the Canopy going east, you're going to hit several different spots before you hit Container Park. You're going to see them along the way. If you want to get to Atomic Liquor, you have to go a couple more blocks past downtown Container Park. But I mean, yeah, Commonwealth is cool. Commonwealth actually has a secret bar inside of it called the Laundry Room, for those of you who don't know. So you have to make reservations ahead of time, and you might have to make them weeks ahead of time. There's no photo or video allowed inside the place. So a lot of people, even a lot of locals, don't even know about it. So yeah, you can hit the Commonwealth, you can hit the Griffin, downtown room, you can grab, a slice of pizza over at Evil Pie, you can bounce over to the Mob Museum. Gold Spike is cool during the daytime. Well, I don't think they're open during the daytime now, but under normal circumstances, they're cool during the daytimes of all kinds of games you can play. Nighttime, they go to more of like a club kind of vibe and that kind of thing. You do have Pizza Rock that I'd mentioned earlier. You've got Hogs and Heifers, a popular bar down there. So one of the cool things about Fremont is you can just bounce around, and it's way more walkable downtown than the Strip is. You can see so much more in a short distance than you can on Las Vegas Boulevard.
Yeah, and for less money too. DJ says Jacob's quality, good choice.
Thanks, right. DJ.
Yeah. And then Lindsay also points out down there in downtown is the Neon Museum, aka the Boneyard.
Yep.
Points Traveler wants to know, what about good late night post bar eats?
Well, so there's plenty of 24-hour spots. So if you like, Tacos El Gordo is going to be popular, right? Tacos Mexico, like I said earlier, Roberto's are all around town. Downtown, there's the people that are out there in the evening doing the bacon wrapped hot dogs.
Hey, about to bring your Pepto-Bismol, Yeah.
Hey, those bacon wrapped hot dogs, man, downtown, dude. Those have been around for a while. So. But yeah, hey, that's a good choice on the Strip or downtown.
Melanie wants to know if you've been to Area 15 yet.
Yes, I have, and I went there, and I was actually going to do a video and just record a whole bunch of footage and make a video. Then I was like, let me see if I can just live stream this here, because I don't think anybody had tried it yet. Had tried live streaming from there, and I asked the staff, I said, "Can I stream from in here?" They said, "Yeah, that's fine." So I said, "Okay." I just set it up, did the stream. And I was in there for probably at least an hour, maybe like an hour and a half. And people liked it because it was Vegas is a unique city with so many things to do. But even that experience was unique. Yeah. So the audience, the crowd got a huge kick out of it. So Area 15 is cool. I do encourage you to go. To get inside Area 15 itself is free. But if you want to go inside Omega Mart, you do have to pay for that. And I had to actually buy tickets ahead of time. So if you're going to go in Omega Mart, you do have to pay for that. And they have other things in there you can do too. Not a zip line, but kind of similar. You have to pay for that separately. They do have places to eat inside there that are cool. They got some unique artwork. It's just a unique experience. So if you haven't been, I would encourage you to go.
Cool. Good tips. Martin wants to know if you would recommend Heart Attack Grill.
So Heart Attack Grill, I've never eaten there. I've looked at the reviews several times. And people have asked, and everything I've seen about it sounds like the food's decent. All the reviews and everybody I've ever talked to said the food is decent. Nobody has said it's amazing. Nobody has said it's terrible. But they say the food's pretty decent. But it's one of those things where you go more so just for the experience, right? Because it's something unique that you're not gonna. I don't know how many other cities that actually would fly in doing something like that, like Heart Attack Grill. So it seems to me like it'd be something that you would do once when you come here on vacation, you have your fun, and then, maybe you do it again when you come back, maybe you don't.
Cool. Andy says Yellow Productions has a nice community, very easygoing chat, rarely seen on any social media. And I should say, really good guests to have on as well, too. So, Andy, thank you very much for that. Bob wants to know, have you been to the new Pinball Museum yet? Their new strip location across from the Mandalay Bay.
I have not. I've driven by it a couple times, like on my way to and from the strip for doing stuff. I haven't been inside yet, though, so I'll definitely have to go poke my head in there because I went to the old one several times. So I thought the old one was pretty cool. So yeah. I'm glad the guy was able to get enough money to be able to complete the operation for his new location.
Right. I am too. And frankly, I feel like that's one of those things that's like only in Vegas. I mean, it is one of those, like, to me, like success stories about like a guy that has all these old pinball machines and wants to fix them up and run them on quarters and make them work and, not charge admission to come in. And so I think it's pretty neat. So yes, when you for any of you here, if you even remotely like pinball and you want to see it around, head to the Pinball Hall of Fame Museum and toss a few quarters in there. So speaking of other things to do, we've talked about the Strip, we've talked about downtown, we've talked about hiking. Are there some other things that you'd recommend people do when they're in Vegas that's just sort of in and around, but not the Strip and not downtown?
I encourage people to go and see a little bit of how just the locals live. So I would say, pop over. If you've never been to Town Square, that's probably the closest one to like the tourist area. You can see how locals live because locals go to Town Square. You get some tourists who go down there, but I mean, it's just south of the Las Vegas sign on Las Vegas Boulevard. And it's just south of the sign, like probably not even a mile. So, if you're going to venture out to other areas, and you could go to the District in Green Valley and Henderson, you could go to Summerlin and check out downtown Summerlin, Red Rock Casino over there, the Golden Knights practice facility. We got the baseball park down there. So, I mean, I encourage people, if they're going to go off Strip, to see some other stuff because so many people, when you're a local, you hear like tourists say things like, well, why would you live in Vegas if you don't gamble? Or why would, what do you guys do in Vegas besides gamble and drink? Or what's your vice? Or, like, it's just all the things that people think of as tourists because all they know is like the Strip and partying and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, well, and then, when you're done gambling and drinking, there's only so many tattoos you can get too. And so.
Exactly.
Boob MDL wants to know, what are your thoughts on the tastiest burger on or off the Strip?
Okay, Booba. So, good burgers. I mean, I'm from California, so I do like In-N-Out Burger because that's what I. Yeah.
Good answer. Good answer.
That's what I've had a lot of my life. In-N-Out Burger. I do. So I like In-N-Out Burger. I do also like. Shoot, I'm drawing a blank. Maybe I don't like it that much.
Shake Shack, Five Guys.
Shake Shack, thank you. Shake Shack. I had Five Guys back in San Jose before I ever moved here. I do like Shake Shack. I do like Five Guys. And it's not in Vegas yet, but there is Whataburger. I've tried it when I was in Florida. Whataburger I thought it was good. I didn't know if it was like life changing, like some Texans seem to think. White Castle, I'm not a big fan of that. So
I agree with that too. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Jacob, I'll just say I would give the same burger answer, frankly, which is where the best burger is. I think In-N-Out, and I think Shake Shack, and I think that In-N-Out is the best for value. If you're looking for them on the Strip, they're at the link underneath the Ferris wheel, and there's a Shake Shack in front of the New York. Though, Shake Shack, you're going to pay $20 for a burger, fries, and a drink, which in my Cheap Eats Vegas video, I get no end of crap for people being like, Chris, this isn't cheap. And I'm like, it's right on the Strip. That's cheap for the Strip,
It is.
Okay. Ollie the Greek wants to know if you would recommend checking out Lake Las Vegas.
I would, especially if you're going to be venturing off the strip. I would definitely recommend checking out Lake Las Vegas. It's very beautiful over there. It's cool to see the lake, cool to see the water. They do have some place you can stay at over there. It is going to be about a half-hour drive from the strip. So, if you're going to be venturing off, then hey, I would definitely say venture off and go over there and check it out.
We must have at least a couple Texans or Texans at heart on here, because I've seen some people say Whataburger's better. Don't you dare badmouth Whataburger. And Henry says apparently the reason why we don't appreciate White Castle is we haven't eaten it at 5 a.m. after a long night of binge drinking, which I guess so. Hall Queen wants to know where should people shop for old Vegas memorabilia or antiques?
Oh, there's a casino supply store on Main Street. It may just even be called the Casino Supply Store. Kind of about halfway between Charleston and Fremont Street, because I think they were just moving locations recently. And I think there's a couple of them where it's like casino supply stores, and they even have you could buy all kinds of older items and things like that are more like from old Vegas. Different than all the typical tourist stuff you're going to see on the strip, and people buying yard long drinks and all that kind of stuff. So I would say look for that. Google search that if you're going to come casino supply stores. But it's close to the downtown area. I haven't been inside of one of them. I've been there before, but it's been a while, and I think they moved locations. But it's somewhere in that general area on Main Street between Charleston and Fremont.
Yeah. For people either living in Vegas or people going to spend a long time in Vegas and use as a base, what do you think are some good multi-day kind of side trip excursions from Vegas?
So if you want to go for the day, well, let's see. Boulder City is a cool change of pace for the day, especially if you're going to go and you see the bighorn sheep that are down there at Hemingway Park. I've done that before. That's pretty cool. You can go to see Hoover Dam down in Boulder City. There's several places there that have been on, diners, dives, and drive-ins or something like that. So that's a cool change of pace. You could spend part of the day or all day in Red Rock Canyon, depending on how adventurous you want to be in there. You could also go to a place like Mesquite for the day, for the weekend. You could go to Pahrump as well. You could go to St. George, Utah, especially when you want to go hiking in Zion area and that kind of thing. So yeah, plenty of things along those lines.
Yeah, I will second Zion, which is the last time we were in Vegas, which was before the pandemic. O'Cyril and I, we did Zion around December, which was actually kind of a really good time to go there because the park wasn't busy. Yeah. And coming from California, we stopped in Vegas on our way there, spent a couple nights, went to Zion, spent a couple nights, spent a couple more nights in Vegas on our way back. So Vic wants to know if you've been to, and then probably your thoughts on Laughlin or Mesquite.
Yes, I have been to both of those places. So actually, and I did a live stream in Laughlin probably 4 years ago when I was there. Been to Laughlin. Laughlin is cool. Laughlin and Mesquite both kind of make me think of how Vegas, and even Pahrump to an extent, how Vegas probably was 60, 70 years ago, where you go to Laughlin, and Laughlin is only 7,000 people in that area that live there. So it's cool because you do have the river right behind it. Although when I was there weren't a bunch of mosquitoes, but I've heard that they can get pretty nasty down there. But it's just smaller. It's more tight knit. It's a tighter feel. Where you're in Laughlin, you see these casinos are built, and truly there's houses built almost right next to them, right near them there. And then same thing in Mesquite. I think Mesquite has got 4 main casino hotels that you can go to. They've got golfing there. They've got outdoor stuff to do. You are close to St. George if you want to go to St. George or something like that. So, although I think Mesquite is 20,000 people, something like that. So it's bigger than Laughlin. But I mean, those places make me think of what Vegas probably was decades ago, when it was just kind of a small town you went to gamble, and that was it.
For sure. I will say I've not spent any significant time in either. I've driven through them, and just on the freeway, I had that exact feel that Jacob had, which they definitely feel like maybe the land that time forgot or something like that. By the way, there are 300 people on the live stream right now. If you're on the live stream and you're enjoying it, please give it a thumbs up. Let Jacob know that you appreciate him being here as a guest, because I certainly do, and let YouTube know that you are enjoying this video. It helps us both out. Sabrina asks, what are your thoughts on the Neon Museum?
Oh, actually, that's one failing right now because I haven't been to that place yet. I've been by it several times, shown in streams, but I mean, if you like the history, I would definitely encourage you to go to that spot. I haven't done a video on it because I haven't been over there. I haven't been inside of it yet, but I would encourage you to go, especially if you like historical stuff about Vegas.
Yeah, cool. I'm sure that'll be a video to come. So on your channel, you do a lot of real estate videos, and so maybe we can talk a little bit about real estate. What's the market like right now? I'm sure, there's a lot of people moving to Vegas. Is it hot? Is it cold? What's the real estate market like?
Oh, it's on fire. It is on fire. We had an article come out recently, a couple of weeks ago, about how there'd been 20,000 new residents that moved here in the first quarter of the year, and the without a doubt, the bulk of them come from California. That's where, in California, they had an article just recently come out how they've lost population from last year. So that trend is going to continue. There's about half a month of inventory on the market right now for homes people looking to buy, which is crazy because when we went into last year, when we went into 2020 in the early part of the year, I think even then we only had a few months of inventory. We had low inventory before everything happened with COVID, and then when COVID happened, it just got even crazier with interest rates being pushed lower than anybody probably ever thought we'd see, which encouraged people to buy. And then so many people leaving other states because they're more of them can telework now, so they don't have to always physically live in the city they're in. So that has really made the market here incredibly hot. Of course, we have no state income tax, so lots of people, because we're next door to California, who has the highest state income tax in the country. It's like very appealing when you live, 4 or 5 hours away to just say, well, why don't we just hop over to the other side of the line and we can come back and visit. So the market's incredibly hot. I think we're sitting around 370,000, 369, 375 median home price here. Right? I think condo price is getting upwards of $200,000 for like the median price. So it's definitely hot. And, that inventory is low. The supply is low. Those prices are going to go up. Yeah.
If people are moving to Vegas, are there parts that you recommend that are like good parts or bad parts? Like what's your general, like if you told a friend like, hey, look here and maybe don't look here?
Yeah, so it's ironic you asked. I just released a video yesterday about the deadliest neighborhoods.
I saw it. Yeah.
So yeah, when you look at the number of homicides, that's what that video was all about. Was just showing the number of homicides, not robbery, not assault, not that kind of thing, just homicides. You'll see a higher concentration right as you're going from the city of Las Vegas into North Las Vegas. So as you're going kind of like where Las Vegas Boulevard and Main Street meet, as you're coming into North Las Vegas, that's where you'll see a more dense amount of homicides. Four Master Lane is a road that a lot of people know for not being a good area here in Las Vegas. It's right in that same area. And you look at that map, you'll see that, the farther out you are, like if you're way out west, like in Summerlin, then, there's less homicides there in that area. Generally speaking, what people think of to be the bad areas is like right outside the Strip, immediately west of the Strip, going from the downtown into North Las Vegas, and then more so on the east side. When you look at the homicides, they had more east of the 15 than west of the 15. So the two spots that everybody loves, when they're looking here, they hear are Summerlin and Henderson. But I mean, there's also the Southwest, there's also the Northwest. There's more than just those two. Well, North Las Vegas, to a lot of people, has a bad reputation, but North Las Vegas, even outside of Aliante, does have nice areas to live in, and there's got some very much lots of growth there recently. So you'll find other good areas outside of Henderson and Summerlin.
Cool. Rye Guy says thumbs up just for Jacob's laugh. It's infectious. Thank you, Rye Guy.
Thanks, Rye Guy.
Points Traveler wants to know, maybe for someone who's not looking to buy, what about the rental market?
So the rental market's really tough now too. the rental market is really tough because, again, you have so many people moving here, and yeah, a lot of them are not going to be home buyers. So the rental market is tough because, and even the home buyer market is tough because of the shortage in lumber, right? Because there's issues with supply chain. There's lots of mills that shut down during COVID. So lots of building, whether it's single family homes, apartment complexes, are backed up right now. So you have those places that are backed up. You have more demand. It's just basic supply and demand. The supply is only here and the demand is up here. The prices are going to be higher. So that's pushing up rental prices right now. The other issue with the rental market we're having here is the fact that with the moratorium, I just spoke to someone the other day who put his home up for rent for a long-term tenant, and he had 300 applications for it.
Wow.
And
that's crazy.
Yeah. And he's being incredibly picky because with the moratorium going on, the moment someone stays for 30 days, they become a Nevada resident and they become a long-term tenant. And if they decide to just stop paying rent, there's nothing that the landlord can do. So they want to make sure, they got the good credit, they got the income, they have everything lined up. So the landlord, is being extra cautious because the landlords really don't have any protection right now.
Right. Yeah, that's rough for landlords. Albie asks, what's the strangest or weirdest thing that you've seen in your time in Vegas?
I mean, I've had strange things happen, particularly on my live streams. I was joking once that I don't know if anybody's had more strange moments happen on live streams than me. And I had some guys a couple of weeks ago was following me around on the strip. I don't know why he came up to talk to me, and I don't know if he thought I was like some news reporter talking about COVID. Got away from him. Then he came and followed me again. And then he went and talked to someone else. The moment his attention directed somewhere else, I made a hard left and got out of there. So I've had strange things like that, right? People do other things like flip off the camera, stupid stuff like that. I've seen a woman dropping off somebody at the airport when I was driving Uber and Lyft. I saw a woman throwing up in a trash can before she was going to go check in for her flight.
Oh, good. That's who you want to sit next to on the plane, right? Yeah.
Yeah, at least she got it all out before she boarded. So, I mean, hey, I guess that's what counts. Yeah, so, I mean, stuff like that, I mean, is stuff that I've seen happen around the area. And then, every time on Fremont Street, it's like a complete crapshoot with what you're going to see over there.
I'm sure it's sort of like Venice Beach in Los Angeles. It's just it's a whole different world. That's kind of the Fremont Street experience. That it's good. It's good for people watching if you want a wilder side of life. On the housing and living in Vegas, Vic wants to know, how are the schools and the healthcare for growing families?
Yeah, so one thing that anybody will see this with Nevada when you look at its ranking as far as public schools, it's usually somewhere between 45 and 50. We're typically towards the bottom of the country when it comes to public schools, which is why here in Nevada you do have a lot of people who choose to do things like either homeschool their children. Homeschooling is very popular. There are private schools. Some are Catholic, some are Christian, or maybe some other denomination. I think there's a private Jewish school as well, but I'm not positive. We have charter schools, we have magnet schools, we have challenger schools here. So you're going to find probably more of the good public schools in Henderson than you will in like parts of like Las Vegas or the city limits, that kind of thing. And part of that is just the fact that Clark County School District it's the whole county, it's county-wide. So over 2 million people live here. It's a massive school district, and it's really a challenge to manage something that big, an organization that big. As far as the healthcare, I've received healthcare. I've gone to hospitals here. I've had to go to urgent care here in Las Vegas, and I've been happy with the healthcare I've gotten here. Also, the fact that we're such a growing area. UNLV does have its medical school now. I mean, when you have things like, you're going to have professional sports teams coming here. They're going to have obviously their team doctors, but things like that I guess maybe establish Las Vegas more as a bigger city, you're going to have more healthcare and more healthcare options and ultimately better options here in the Vegas area.
Melanie says children exist in Vegas. Smiley face. Just kidding. And Steve-O wants to know, Jacob, do you still interview buskers?
Oh, I mean, I just go up and I just talk to people that are there. Lots of times the people that are performing, though, they don't want to be on camera because it's like, they feel like, hey, if you want me to be on your camera, like to take a photo, they're like, well, you got to tip me for it. So, I mean, as far as like people actually performing, it's kind of rare. But, sometimes just people I just walk by and they're just like staring at me for 3 seconds. I walk by, I'm like, you want to come say hi? Like, you're staring pretty hard. So, I'm more prone to do something like that.
I think those people like the buskers that don't want to be on camera because they want you to pay them are misguided, and they're misguided because that's often how a lot of people get really famous, right? It's like, hey, this is great
Yeah.
exposure, but they're like, can you give me $5? And to be like, I don't know.
Right.
A lot of people might see you on here that then might want to come down and see you and actually give you $5. But
Right.
Kieran says, I was wondering when you guys would do a video together. Well, Kieran, wonder no more because that day has come today.
Mhm.
And let's see. The Wu Tang says, so speaking of those apartments, like what is the average for like a one bedroom in Vegas?
We're over $1,000 now. So I was just reading an article about that a couple days ago. How across Nevada, I think from 2019 to 2020, it went up. I think across Nevada, it was like the average one bedroom was 945 or something, and it went up to like 990 or 995. And then the Vegas area specifically being over $1,000 for a one bedroom. Obviously, the Las Vegas area and the Reno area are going to be more expensive. As far as safest neighborhoods, Henderson, you'll see year after year, is on some list somewhere for being one of the safest cities in America. It's over 300,000 people. So for a city that size, it's known for being pretty safe. Like I said earlier about, the homicides and the crime and that kind of thing. So generally, if you're kind of more on the outer edge of the area, probably going to be less violent crime, less homicides and things like that.
Cool. Since you've lived in Vegas, what is your least favorite thing about the city?
Least favorite thing? I mean, I don't know. You're going to get a mixture of people here. So, I mean, you're going to meet some people who you definitely don't like. I mean, it's going to happen anywhere. It is a bit strange now that I've been here for a while and I see pockets of land that I'd always seen just be empty land. And now there's homes being filled in. Places that were just used to just be a stop sign, a four-way intersection with a stop sign. Now it's a stop light. It's like an actual major intersection. So it's like, man, it's taking a little longer to get certain places now. You used to be able to just whip around certain spots. More center dividers put in. Used to be able to get around easier. Now it's a little bit more challenging.
Yeah, so maybe the traffic is one of your least favorite things. I mean, the traffic every time the 15 just seems to like really turn into a parking lot right there along the strip. I find.
Yeah, it can be near the strip, but it's definitely not like being on 405 on a Friday afternoon, or being on Highway 101 or
yes,
Highway 680.
In Los Angeles, I'm like the only free parking is on the I-405 at about 6 p.m. That's when you get all the free parking that you want.
Yeah, it's not like coming across the Bay Bridge at 6 p.m. for sure.
Yeah. All right. Well, in every live stream, I always give away a T-shirt, so it's time for the giveaway.
Yes, it's the time you've been waiting for. It's time for the giveaway.
And to win one of these Yellow Productions Crew shirts back here, what you need to do is you need to answer this question I'm going to ask you, and it's something that Jacob said. And to win the shirt, you have to get the punctuation correct on this answer. And so this is, what is Jacob's favorite burger on the strip? He answered it earlier. Punctuation counts, so I'm going to be looking for that. While people are typing in the answers, Jacob, if people want to tune into you, how do they find you? Where do they find you? And what will they find when they get there?
Yeah, so I mean, the best place is just on YouTube, Jacob's Life in Vegas. I have the same name on Instagram, Jacob's Life in Vegas. And then on Twitter, it's Jacob's Vegas Life. Had to switch that up because the name was too long. So that's probably your best place to find me. Lots of different Vegas topics. So sometimes it's stuff that's time sensitive that maybe just happened recently, and other times it'll be things that are just more evergreen content. So whether it's moving to Vegas, the local life, traveling there, money saving tips, anything along those lines, you're probably going to be able to find something you like.
Very cool. And by the way, if you've been looking at the title I had over Jake, because I had a live stream, it started out and said Jacob's Live in Vegas, but it's Jacob's Life in Vegas. And
I mean, it's technically not wrong.
Yeah, he does a lot of live streams too. So if you want to see what it's like on a given day, definitely check him out. And you'll also find a link in the description below. Now, I've seen a lot of people put names in the chat, and the thing is that there's at least 20 people that have put things in the chat. And I said punctuation counts, and so nobody yet has gotten the full title of this restaurant with the punctuation Correct. And I'm sure this is hard as people do it on cell phones and they get autocorrect. But
There's at least one Californian who knows.
yeah, there's got to be one I mean, there's a lot of people who typed in the name, but there's not a lot of
Hint,
people who
hint.
typed in maybe the full name. So I'm still going to wait for that full name. All right, I see a full name now.
And now we
Yeah.
have a winner chicken dinner.
All right, and the winner now is DB. There were 3 people that got it: Sweet Pineapple, Gilberto, and DB. But DB was the first one that got In-N-Out Burger. Jacob, was that what you said? Was that your favorite burger on the strip?
Yeah, coming from California, that's
Right on.
It's there.
Very good. All right.
That was
Well,
a good call.
yeah, well, DB, you can send me an email. You'll find my email in the description, or send me a message on Facebook. Let me know what size Yellow Productions crew shirt you want and where you want me to send it, and I will get it right to you. Well, Jacob, it's truly been a pleasure hanging out with you for this hour. I hope we can do something again, either virtually or in person when we can do stuff in person. Any final words are here to you to close out our stream.
Thanks for having me on, man. I appreciate it. I've seen your content for a few years now, so it's cool that we actually get to be, well, digitally face to face and get to chat. So I'm happy to help and happy to give some insight.
Yeah, it was super cool to do this. I know we helped a lot of people today, and so as usual, everybody, I won't say goodbye because I'll see you in the next video, and Jacob will probably see you over on his channel too.
Cool. Thanks, Chris.